Today we're going to be again talking about sound in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I saw the comments you guys left on my last sound video, so I'm going to do my best to try and address those here. And as with most things sound related, there's some subjectivity to my analysis, so don't necessarily take these numbers as concrete. So many of you mentioned in my last video, I did crawling, but I didn't do slow crawling. Now the reason for that is simple. I simply didn't know slow crawling was in the game. You're already moving so slowly when you're crawling. I never even thought to try slow crawling. And the bottom line is slow crawling has an audible range that is the same as normal crawling. So I'm really not sure what benefits slow crawling has over normal crawling. The sound is a little bit different. It's maybe a little less harsh, maybe a little bit less noticeable, but the audible fall off range is exactly the same at 15 meters. And in my last video, I overlooked switching weapons, and switching weapons does have an audible event, but again, it falls off after about 2 meters. After about 2 meters, you will not be able to hear an enemy switching his or her weapon. Now, a few of you in the comments had the interesting idea of if I move slowly, will people even hear me? If I tap my forward key very briefly, can I inch forward without being heard? And the answer is kind of yes. We did a lot of testing for this, and we weren't able to consistently eliminate the footstep, but you are able to move pretty serious amounts of distance without being heard at all. But the problem is every now and then we'd still get an errant footstep, even though we were trying to be very consistent with how briefly we were tapping that forward key. And also, you're going to be moving forward very slowly. So I'm not really sure if it's worth it. There might be a few key situations where it'll be useful, but I wouldn't necessarily rely on this as a method of perfect stealth. And finally, before we dive into the audible ranges of aiming and moving, I want to just address one fact. Whether you are aiming in third person by holding right click, or whether you are aiming down your sights by clicking right click, your character is going to have the same movement modifier independent of what aiming mechanism you are using. It is slower than if you are completely soft aiming, but they are the same independent of if you're ADSing or if you are third person aiming. And the one thing many people may not know is when you are aiming or when you are ADSing, depending on the class of weapon you are using, you will move faster or slower. If you wield a sniper, an AR, or a shotgun, your aim speed will be about the same as your walk speed. But if you are wielding a pistol or a submachine gun, your aim speed will be considerably faster than your walk speed. Now, as far as the audible fall-off ranges, I wasn't really able to determine if the aiming has any difference in the walking equivalent in that stance. So based on my last video's testimony, it seems like the sound is going to fall off at about those same ranges. If you are aiming and moving forward, that's going to be 20, 25 meters. And if you are crouched, aiming, and moving forward, it's about 15 to 20 meters. Independent of that class of weapon, you will be moving faster with a pistol and a submachine gun, but the audible fall-off range will be the same as if you were using a rifle or a shotgun. Hey guys, so I'm sorry about the length of the video this week. I was on vacation. I didn't have as much time to work on my videos as I normally do. I'm also sorry I don't have a Graza video. I wanted to get one out, but I just don't have all the footage recorded. I mentioned last week that I do have access to a custom server, and that's true, but because of time zones and scheduling conflicts, it's really hard to get reliable access to that custom server. And these videos actually take hours and hours to collect the footage, record the footage, and then break them all down. So if anyone knows of a way I can get more reliable access to a custom server, still reach out to me on Twitter. I might need access to more than one custom server since I still don't have one myself. I applied for the PUBG partnership, but I got denied. My channel is just simply too small, and I understand that, and I respect the decision. But in the meantime, it's going to be really hard to do breakdowns on these harder to get, harder to acquire weapons. So hopefully in the future, I'll get more reliable access to these custom servers. And if anyone knows out there, or if anyone owns one out there and is willing to give me access, please reach out to me on Twitter. Please, please, please. I'm begging you. I want to make these breakdown videos. I like making these breakdown videos, but it's just impossible to do these in live games with 100 people trying to kill me. Anyway, I want to give a big shout out to LazyGun8. He helped me a lot gather the footage for this video that you saw this week. If I got anything wrong, leave it in a comment below, or if you want to see anything else, leave it in a comment below. Subscribe if you guys want to see more OCD content. I'm MagnumDopus. Keep crunching those numbers.